of Coffee and a Good Vibe. So this is a very special episode because this is a long time coming. It's awesome to get to interview your amazing friends who are just like killing it in their businesses. So I'm sitting down with Kayleigh and Danielle, the founders of CLEARSTEM Skincare. So guys, thanks for being here, for hanging out today.
We are so excited that we finally get our solo episode together with you. The panel session was a blast.
They're iconic. So if you guys are listening and you went to the live event, ClearStem was a proud sponsor of the Coffee and a Good Vibe Soho House event, which was amazing. The panel was so,
that was absolutely incredible.
No, you guys, you guys
phenomenal.
made it so special, and we're just such an incredible brand to work with. And with the panel, people wanted more. That's the thing with the panel, right? Like everyone wants to talk, and we want to be equal. But now we get to go all in on you guys, like as people and as business owners.
We love it. And, we were talking before we pressed record and started going on about this, but one of our favorite things to do is be able to combine not only, our knowledge of building ClearStem, all of our knowledge within skincare, but also the behind the scenes part about life, because growing as an entrepreneur is also growing as a person and a human being and balancing everything in life. And so we're really excited that you like to dive into all aspects of building a company, which is growing personally too.
Oh, I love that you said that, because it's like there's so many podcasts out there, and anyone could just go into like how to start a business, or I don't know.
That's so boring. Like you need the whole picture. You need the whole picture. You need everything.
Yeah, entrepreneurship is tough. We're gonna go in, and it's great to like have we have so much we've done the panel. We have all this history, so we can just jump right in and go right into it. So I gotta go into more of an overview for the people who do not know who you guys are, but I would love to hear about your journey, individually, and then how it collectively joined to form ClearStem.
All right. Well, first of all, I just have to tell you that I freaking adore you. I don't know anyone just cuter, sweeter, better energy. I just love you, and I'm so glad we're here.
I will Venmo you after.
I'll send you my handle. Okay, so personal story. God, that's how much time you get. Okay, so I don't even know where to start. So I got into the skincare game because my skin sucked. I literally battled cystic acne for 12 years. It just runs in my family on both sides. So it was a big deal. If you struggle with skin issues, it can be almost like a cancer in your psyche. It affects how you see yourself. Mm-hmm. It affects how you show up. It affects what you think you're worth. It affects your opportunities. I didn't apply for a promotion that I could have gotten because I just wasn't feeling good about myself. Would cancel parties, cancel something relating to my birthday just because I just wasn't feeling good about my skin. I would call ahead to restaurants to see what the lighting was like. It was just bad. It just took over my life, right? So did Accutane 3 times, still came back. And when it was the worst was in college, and I was like working with a bunch of different dermatologists, and not one of them could answer any basic questions like about diet or like how to take care of my skin. Like they would just like write prescriptions over and over. So at the time I was actually studying biology and genetics, and I'm like, this is bullshit. Like there's so much more going on here, and the only solution is pill prescription writing, and this is just not the way to go. So long story short, dealt with it for another like 8 years. I was still in the corporate world. Wow. And then the final straw was when I canceled I did tech sales, and I had tried to get a meeting with the CEO for like months. Finally got on his calendar, and like my skin was freaking out, and I wound up canceling the meeting, and I was like, this is bullshit. So I decided to look into classes to learn about skin, and had to be a student in order to take the classes. So I enrolled in beauty school at night, which is the biggest culture shock ever. It was literally like 6-figure job, corporate sales, tech sales, like going to beauty school at night. And it was just like, it was wild. So I barely even showed up. I just got access to the information I wanted. Then I shadowed under a couple people who already were established in San Diego, learned a lot, and then started San Diego Acne Clinic about 7 years ago. And the method that I bring to clearing acne is very holistic, and it finds the root causes for people. And a few months in is when I met Kayleigh here. She was just a random, at the time, patient who would forever change my life. And yeah, I'll let you tell the rest of it.
So I'll fast forward up until this part, but basically I had worked in the corporate world for years. I actually used to work in professional sports and fell in love with the world of nutrition. And so at the time I was working in the corporate world, and as a holistic nutritionist, I was consulting with different brands, but also people individually with getting their health back in order. And all during this time, out of nowhere, my skin just completely broke out in bright red, inflamed cystic acne. I was having so many health issues, and I could not get to the root cause. I could not figure it out. I was going to every doctor, dermatologist, esthetician, specialist. Everyone just wanted me to go on birth control, Accutane, or antibiotics. And as a holistic nutritionist, I was like, these are just Band-Aid approaches. These actually don't fix any root cause. What is going on in my body? And no one could tell me what was going on. And I was trying everything I could to not go on Accutane. I knew how disruptive it was for your gut, for your liver, for your mental health, but I didn't see any other option. So as one last resort, I did one last Google search, and up popped San Diego Acne Clinic, and I meet Danielle, and my life was forever changed. I mean, I go in there, and I luckily happened to be her last client of the day, so she had extra time to spend with me. And we evaluated everything I was eating, every supplement I was taking, every skincare product, makeup product, hair product I was using. And I was so well versed in holistic nutrition as it applied to, weight, whether it was weight gain or weight loss, or, feeling good, feeling energized every day, eating to stabilize your mood and hormones. But I had no idea about the very specific functions of nutrition and wellness as it applies to acne, aside from processed sugars, things like that. The trigger acne, there's a whole realm of things. For instance, like eating eggs every single day triggers acne. Eggs is a healthy food. So there's all these very little nuances I had no idea about. And we completely cleared my skin in 2 months. Wow. With no scar damage, no anything. I'm actually one of the before and afters on our website. And we realized that there's a huge white space in the market for combining anti-acne and anti-aging, because you have acne products, anti-acne products that historically are so toxic. They're so disruptive to your skin. They're disruptive to your hormones. They dry out your skin, and they cause accelerated aging. So anti-acne products historically have caused accelerated aging in your skin. And then you have anti-aging products that are typically filled with a ton of different pore clogging ingredients and completely work against acne. So you have anti-aging products that are causing acne. So these completely two different industries within skincare working against each other. And then you have the whole toxic versus non-toxic space. Skincare is filled with a lot of different hormone disruptors that get absorbed into your skin, cause gut issues, liver issues, brain fog, memory issues, lead to Alzheimer's, cancer, you name it. So we decided to combine it all together. Despite what some people said, so many people told us retailers would not know what shelf to put you on, and you'd fail in retail because they wouldn't know to put you with acne, put you with aging. You'd confuse everyone. You'd confuse the market. And we're like, that's the point. There's so many people that are struggling with acne that also want to be using anti-aging products because they want to age gracefully. You want glowing skin, but you also want corrective skincare that's helping with melasma and acne and hyperpigmentation. So we brought it all together, and we're like, this is a problem. We have the solution.
I love that. I never got to hear the story in that depth, and I'm so grateful I did, because I just feel like there's so much there in your backgrounds individually. You guys were never I actually want to know this, because you guys were in completely corporate, and you went to school for something, and you never probably thought when you were going through school, doing your degrees, I'm going to be an entrepreneur, I'm going to start my own business. So did you know that you wanted to be an entrepreneur ever in your life? Or what was it like? Because I feel like there was a lot of people listening who are maybe in a job in corporate, and they feel that inner calling, I think I want to start my own thing. I see they listen to Coffee and a Good Vibe, they get inspired by other entrepreneurs. So what was that calling? It was clearly enough for you to be I'm leaving this to start this, and you believed in it.
My mindset around having your own business, I think it was from culturally growing up too. I thought was always supposed to be a hobby. So when I was younger and I was the kid having lemonade stands. I was walking around the neighborhood passing out flyers to clean people's houses. I was hosting carnivals in my backyard and giving out tickets to my stuffed animals as prizes. I was always hosting these different things and selling things, but it was just fun for me. And then I always thought, you know, you go to college, you get a career, but you can have fun side projects on the side. So like, that's what, when I became a holistic nutritionist, I was still working in the corporate world. I'm like, no, like me being a holistic nutritionist and having a blog and doing all that, like that's my passion. That's not my career. Like I didn't realize they could be so intertwined. Like I didn't know you could like love what you do all day, every day, all the time. Until now.
Okay, I did not know that you had carnivals in your backyard and charged money. We should still do that.
I'm so down. I loved it. I would like set up all these games in the backyard. Like,
how did I not know this about you?
You'll learn.
I love to bring experiences to people. Like that was my favorite thing.
That's amazing. Okay, the question was, when did you know you wanted to be an entrepreneur? Okay, so I've always had a problem with authority. So to answer your question, no, but looking back, there were signs. Like hated authority, always broke the rules. Didn't listen to anyone unless they had earned my respect. And this from starting from age 4. Like I would challenge my mom when she would try to put me on timeouts. Like babysitters would quit all the time. Like it was a thing. So hostility towards authority, I think, is like the number one sign that you should explore your entrepreneurial potential. I always was creative. Like I had paintings and they got sold, and I would do like crafts and stuff. And I always had like ideas when I was a kid. Like I was like 5 and I was like cutting out pockets from jeans and like putting buttons on them and making them like a wallet kind of thing. I don't know, just like little creative things like that. I never dove into the business side of it though, like in terms of like charging people or making money. Like I never did that. So I think the time that I knew I needed to start my own thing was when all the corporate jobs that I had been striving for, the kind where you get them and you're like, oh, I've made it. I just hated going. I didn't want to. I'm like, this is not it. Like, there's no way this is going to be the next like 30, 40 years of my life. Like, there's no way. And then I saw a business model for San Diego Acne Clinic, and I was like, I could do this. I'll just test the theory. So I rented a space with my friend who was a holistic health practitioner, and I just had like 2 days a week. So my overhead to try this thing was like $500 a month, and it blew up. So after that, you're like, okay, this thing works and everything else is shit. So then you're dialed in. So I stopped doing everything else and put everything into San Diego Acne Clinic, and it felt like home. So I think that if first of all, you shouldn't start a business unless you can't not start it. Like if there's something in you that is just being like, it keeps you up at night, like you're kind of in love with it when you think about it, like you lay in bed and you get visuals of it, like that's a good calling, I think, to at least test the concept. And yeah, that's kind of when I knew that I had to start it. And then my father is an entrepreneur, and I learned that the genetic disposition for entrepreneurs can be up to 50% inherited. So I think if you've got it in your family, it's worth exploring.
I love that. No, I think that that's so powerful too. And we only have one life. You gotta go for it. And I just get so inspired with these interviews because it just like makes you feel like, yeah, everyone has like the potential to do anything. And on that note, even with finding the perfect co-founder, it seems like you guys kind of fell into each other's lives at divine timing.
Yes.
And some people maybe out there might be searching for a co-founder, which is cool too, or they like come into their life because you guys know we're all about manifestation. But what do you guys think? Why do you guys think you guys make the perfect team? Because I see it just even in your personalities, it's different. And like knowing you both, like it's different, but in a good way, you know? So what's your 2 cents around that? Do you think opposites attract? Is it like dating? Like give it to me.
I would love to hear more about why you said that. But I think the perfect co-founder is someone who's really good at everything you're not that good at, and vice versa. And that you have the same vision and you both are committed to working on your relationship with each other. Like we have our own co-founder therapist, like we work on our communication.
I love that.
Oh yeah, it's like a marriage, but harder kind of.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so important.
Yeah. So you have to be just as committed to that.
Co-founder therapist.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a thing for sure.
So
Needs to be.
Yeah. So what I think works with Danielle and I so much, like she mentioned, like we have the same goal in mind. Like we know what we want. We are always on the same page with like the direction our company is in, our goal, but we have two different ways of thinking to get there sometimes, which is so cool because we challenge each other with things. Like when we're coming up with an idea, like I have one way of doing it, Danielle has another way, and we blend them together. We also started something this year focusing on our zone of geniuses. So taking what each of us is our zone of genius and what each of us is really good at, and appreciating that in each other and kind of letting each other take the lead in certain areas of the business where it is that zone of genius with the supplement of the other person. So like I'll update Danielle on things and vice versa and be like, okay, I had this idea, this is the direction we're going in. Oh, did you think of this? And then we flow with it. Like we flow really well.
I love that.
But we also, like Danielle mentioned, like we're committed to our relationship as co-founders. And it is like a marriage. Like we have an executive coach and therapist that we work with. And because sometimes like there's difficult things to bring up to each other, but we bring it up in our sessions.
Yeah.
And then he's able to say like, okay, Kayleigh's saying this, Danielle, do you hear it this way? And like vice versa, because he's also gotten to know us. So he's able to repeat things back in a way that we can hear it and with love behind it. Because every single time maybe Danielle and I don't see eye to eye, like there's still so much love behind it. And it's just remembering that and coming back to that every single time. Like we love each other. We love the company. We want, like so many times he's like, you guys are saying the same exact thing. You're just saying it two different ways.
Totally.
All the
that's
time.
Even in romantic relationships too. And the thing is, it's like, as the business grows or as someone's dating someone for longer, like more things can come up. And like I've seen like, I'm not going to like name names, but I've like followed so many amazing companies and like someone will exit. Like there's like, and sometimes it gets out like, oh, that both co-founders didn't see eye to eye anymore. But it can be meant. And I think that feuds, and I listen to so many podcasts too, like having disagreements is such a good thing. It's so healthy because then you guys grow because you overcome, like you understand how to communicate better from that. And you just like grow into a more of an unstoppable force, which kind of brings me into like the next thing I want to go into, which is the growth that you guys have had in the short time that ClearStem's been a brand. And even today, in real time, like you post on your story that the Skinny Confidential posted you guys. And it's so crazy because we have my interns here, and Joanne, 17, started a skincare line, and she came over, they were here early prepping for you guys. And we were talking about it. She just launched this line and she was like, but how do I grow? What's the best tactic? And I'm like, well, we're going to talk about this on the podcast. But I think you guys have a beautiful way of like how you guys have really grown such an authentic tribe community. And I want to just tap in because I have so many things I want to go into. But what would you owe your biggest growth and success to?
So we've always operated lean. You know, we've never brought in outside investors at all. And so in the beginning, we never had a marketing budget. We never had, in the beginning, we didn't have money to put towards ads. Like all of our money went towards building our website, creating our product, and, you know, forming the brand. We didn't have an agency to hire to do all of our packaging. We couldn't have like the most beautiful custom packaging, any of that. And so it was really feet on the ground, like grinding. So a lot of what I did a lot of networking. Like I was going to every single event. I like
you still go to a lot of events.
Talking about ClearStem all the time. I had a podcast for 3 years. I was talking about it all the time. I had a blog, Instagram, meeting people in person. I was always just connecting and networking with people, not even for the benefit of ClearStem, but more like to grow as a person and to also get to know other people within the space, just to learn. And then I think ClearStem's name got out a lot that way. And then Danielle has her clinic. So
and you guys give products a lot.
Yeah,
for people to try.
Product for 2.5 years, and then we launched 3 more. So we had 4 products total for like another year or so. And then in the last year, from October until now, we've gone from 4 products to 11 products, and have 3 more launching in Q1.
Wow! So but it's all to your amazing community you've grown because you've gotten so much feedback, right?
So we built the community through like the CPG space, through the wellness space. And then Danielle's clinic.
Yeah, the clinic, so San Diego Acne Clinic, I still own and operate that. I have 2 talented estheticians that work for me there. But yeah, we basically just, it's like a ClearStem clinic kind of. Like everyone comes to the clinic, and most people, like, you think acne and you think teenager, but it's not. My average client's like 26, 27, and they want that anti-aging stuff. So because the clinic has such a good reputation and everyone that comes through has also fallen in love with ClearStem, I feel like San Diego just knows us.
Yeah.
And then it spreads up to LA, and it's just, like the growth has been truly grassroots. And yeah.
Through word of mouth a lot though. Like when you fix people's skin, they get compliments on their skin. They're like, how did you fix your skin? ClearStem. And then the word spreads from there. So we've always focused first on creating a product that works and that delivers change, so that word of mouth spread it so much faster. And then Danielle knows this. I know who I want to get ClearStem in the hands of. Like, I've always been very deep in the wellness space, and I know who would absolutely love ClearStem and in what industries and niches we would crush it in. So I felt it was my responsibility to like get to know those people, really get to know those niches and those different areas, and then just get ClearStem in there, just get it into the hands of people.
I love that. I was saying to the girls, I was like, relationships are everything, because everyone has influence too. Like you said that in your way, like everyone wants to know, like if someone's skin's glowing, what do you do? And and it's just happened too though with you guys, like with being a part of, I feel like knowing what niches and what communities and what events to be a part of, you end up getting exposure to people who have bigger platforms, smaller platforms, but all those things, like they compound, and it does play the role on your social media. Like your social is growing so much with ClearStem. Another thing, events, podcasts, do you recommend that to other founders? I know you guys have said you found a lot of growth from podcasts specifically. Any other like tactics or things that you guys like to pursue on a marketing?
So because we had to operate so lean, the one free thing we could do that we could give was education. So getting on Instagram lives together, getting on podcasts, and just educating, like how to heal your skin, how to heal acne.
Knowledge. Yeah, you've been through it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, education. Danielle writes a ton of blogs for our learning lab on our website. Again, educating through podcasts, Instagram lives, anywhere we can just get in front of panel sessions where we can just educate and truly help people heal their skin. And then the word is just spread from there.
I love it. No, it's so powerful. Another thing I wanted to go into, because I know you guys are both wealth of knowledge. You went to beauty school at night, like you just always are continuing to grow. How are you guys, like, what are you using, what resources to grow as entrepreneurs? Because I feel like just with ourselves, like in keeping on that topic of being lean, I remember when I started like my business, I was like, oh, if I can't like pay someone to do my website. I remember when I was 17, I wanted to start like my training company or 16. I was like, I'm going to make my own website and figure out how to do it. And then I just did a course, taught myself. I think that entrepreneurs and in general, just people need to have that mindset. And I think it helps so much too, because then when you're outsourcing, man, when I'm now, like I outsource like my video editing, I know like how many hours something should take someone because I used to edit every little thing, So like, how are you guys continuing to learn and grow? Any resources for like business, I would say, marketing?
For business growth, I mean, I would say like expanding your personal mindset. Your business is an extension of you. So the more you expand yourself and your way of thinking, the more your business magically grows. Like if you're a curious person, you're a new person every time you read a book because you get paradigm shifts. And then that level of thinking translates to your business and your business processes. Your time becomes a lot more valuable the more experience you have, so you know which calls to take and which ones to decline. So everything just becomes more efficient and more intentional. The more you grow as a person and the more your habits and your practices are geared toward efficiency and maximum like impact. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. Do you have any?
It's all about who you surround yourself with too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Danielle is a part of EO.
Which is Entrepreneurs Organization.
Yeah, I'm in a lot of different just like networks of groups of people that are of entrepreneurs. All my friends are entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we're in like a bubble of that in LA.
Yeah, which is amazing because then like the conversations and the lifestyles all revolve around it, and it naturally just grows you as a person.
Because the conversation, it's like a mastermind.
Yeah,
that's what I say.
You are a combination of the 5 closest people you surround yourself with, and you know, so just surrounding yourself with people who have really good energy and not only want the best for themselves but also want the best for you, and just like here to make an impact, here to have good intentions, entrepreneurial mindset. I think just will grow you the fastest, just naturally being around those types of people.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I think that if you're not around that physically, it's like online, right? We have communities. Then you can also pay to join EO on like something like that. You pay a membership fee?
Yes,
it's worth it.
Oh, totally. Yeah, it's you have to have $1 million in revenue in order to qualify, and then you go through an admissions process, and you have to go through a final interview. So they make sure that you're not.
And you imagine the growth in that because the community. If you have a question on something, you go to the best of the best, and you get a connection and intro. So much power in that.
It's so much power, and then you're around people where it's common in EO. There is no small talk. Like something that Kayleigh and I have been talking about more and more is our aversion to small talk. And it sucks because you have friends that like want to see how you're doing, but they just like don't know how to communicate. They're like, so how have you been? Like, you got to narrow that down, buddy. Like, what's your next product launch, et cetera, et cetera. My point is like when you're around different groups of people that are focused on business, there is no small talk. You immediately start talking about revenue. You level up. Yeah. You start talking about like within 5 minutes that you know each other's revenue, you know who you need to fire, you know what agencies you're working for, you know how they've scaled, what their trajectory is like.
Accelerate your learning curve.
Yes.
Tenfold.
Yes.
I love that.
And those people will call you out if you keep making the same excuse on something. They'll be like, friendly challenge. Like if you have a friend who's been saying the same thing forever, you owe it to your friend to be like, okay, friendly challenge. This is the excuse you made last year. Why have you still choosing it today? Like stuff like that. Like if your friends aren't doing that to you, find a couple new friends to add to your mix.
Money. I love that. And this is why I'm a big fan of too, like big cities and moving like we all moved from our where we grew up to a bigger city. And this is why, because it's just a melting pot for people. And then everyone is playing the game at a bigger level. When you expose yourself to that, you naturally have no choice to level up or you fall back. And it's like harsh, but it's like the real world of business. And it's like, if you want to be at the top, you got to swim with the sharks and know how to tread. And not going to go into a metaphor that I don't know where it's going. Okay, I love the business. Love it. I want to go into the gems of Skin 101 because I'm dying to learn. I actually have listened to you guys on almost 30 other podcasts, and you guys are just wealth of knowledge. So I want to know almost like the things that people don't know about skincare, because one of the things that I like hear just from Kayleigh all the time, like she'll say something and I'm like, what? It's like a fact about skincare. So I want to hear it all. I want to go into things with diet, hormone, foods that help our skin, don't help our skin, how stress plays a role. Just like if you guys can go into some of those big pillars, basically, I know we should just start with one. Let's start with diet.
Okay, yes. Kayleigh's the nutritionist, so I'm going to give the mic to her. Come back to me for vitamins.
So what I think is the most shocking for people is that there's a lot of healthy foods that break people out, and a lot of it comes down to our digestive system and gut health. So one of the biggest ones is dairy. Most people know that, but still not everyone. Dairy is the number one food that causes people to break out. It does cause a disruption in hormones immediately. You'll be breaking out around the goatee line, around where the testosterone line is right here. So that's a huge one. So if you are currently breaking out, just cut out all dairy for a little bit. Test it out.
Question. If someone just is not breaking out, would just cutting out dairy in general help their skin glow, just improve?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they'll be like because from any food that's overprocessed, which dairy is overprocessed. I mean, unless you're buying like raw goat's milk at the farmer's market. Like I'm not talking about that. I'm talking like conventional dairy. It does disrupt your hormones in general and makes your liver more sluggish. So the more that you can detox your liver, the more your skin will glow. Like you will see that through your skin.
Glow up.
Yeah, and your digestive system will be cleaned out as well. Your gut health will be a lot healthier, which is directly linked to your skin. So yes, dairy, even if you aren't currently breaking out, removing dairy will glow up your skin. It'll brighten it a little bit more. Gluten is another huge acne trigger and inflammatory trigger as a whole. So even if you aren't currently breaking out, gluten causes a lot of inflammation. So it can cause puffiness in the skin. Like if you wake up and your face feels kind of swollen or puffy at all, it's something related to inflammation. So what gluten does is when it goes through your digestive system, it bores tiny little holes in your intestines. It does this to everyone. And then it allows food to leak out through your bloodstream. Your body is like, what is this? Food particles are not supposed to be in the bloodstream, starts attacking itself and causes an inflammation response that you do not want.
Wow.
Yeah, so those are two big ones. Eggs are a third one. That was one of my biggest acne triggers a couple years ago. I was making these deliciously amazing egg bowls every single morning. They were phenomenal. And there's a lot of people in the health and wellness world, people that are trying to get healthy, eat clean, that eat eggs every single day.
Eggs are so convenient.
Yeah, they're so convenient. They're a great source of protein. And we're not saying remove eggs forever, but if you are currently breaking out, take a break from them for a few weeks, a month, and then slowly introduce them back in. I'll have eggs every once in a while now. They're just not a daily thing for me. I'm a lot more aware of it. That's a big one. And then undigested protein. So if you're having an excess of protein, specifically it's usually chicken, you can break out around your lymphatic system right in here. I notice if I'm on a kick of buying rotisserie chickens a lot for convenience and like throwing it in salads and things like that, I will start breaking out around my neck, kind of behind my ears, under my chin, where that lymphatic system is. So that's why digestive enzymes are really important to help you break down food. Those are a little more of the shocking ones. The ones that everyone should know is excess sugar, like processed sugar. So when you eat too much sugar, your blood sugar levels spike and it throws off all the hormones in your body. So eating excess sugar, processed sugar. I mean, you're tuning around and even look at juices these days, and it's like monk fruit, stevia, and cane sugar. Like there's 4 or 5 different types of sugars in there, and you're like, what the heck? And then even fruit juices have like added sugar. It's like, but there's fruit in it. Like you already have natural sugar. So I'm not talking about the fruit and the natural sugars. I'm talking more about all the added sugars to everything and just the extreme excessive amounts about it. We should really be working to stabilize our blood sugar every day, because as soon as those spikes happen, breakouts are going to happen. And carbs are also sugar. So just being really aware of that. Carbs are amazing to have. We all need them, but excess carbs and sugar, like it all converts to sugar the exact same way in the body. So it's still going to cause that huge spike. So it's really good to balance it out with some fats and protein.
Love that.
So those are the big ones in the food space. More dietary
I love
wise.
that.
Yes, I think everyone is always shocked. Everyone kind of knows about dairy. Everyone's always shocked by the egg thing. I see it every time someone goes low carb or goes keto. They start eating a ton of eggs, and they'll get insane cystic acne on their cheeks, and it'll spread down to where the lymph nodes are near the neck. So that sounds like you. No more eggs for a minute. Yeah. Another thing that's shocking about skincare, because when you're talking about skincare, to me that encompasses acne, because that's what like 90% of people struggle with at some point. And even if you see someone with like what you would consider perfect skin, ask them and they've had a pimple that ruined their life. So like everyone's an acne customer, kind of, it's very rare to meet someone who's not.
One thing I'm learning is like seasons too, like all of a sudden, like I've never had like skin issues until recently. And it's like you have a flare up, and then like even Kayleigh's journey, it was like great. And then all of a sudden, and then you just like don't know where it came from because you've never dealt with it.
That's why we educate about all this, because it could just be 1 or 2 things like in this list of things for
And honestly, sometimes when it comes out of nowhere, it's usually very, very common from a vitamin, because everyone is not everyone, most people at some point in their life decide that they need to start taking a vitamin. It starts with a multivitamin, they start adding other ones. I don't know, everyone in our circle takes like 40 vitamins because we're all like mini biohackers. But anyway, most people take a vitamin of supplement or supplement of some kind. And the things that are the most common are vitamin D and things with B12. And then lately, because of COVID, zinc. So there are 4 vitamins that in excess trigger acne. Excessive vitamin D which is tricky because everyone with acne is told to take vitamin D. The study that did that is so flawed. Like, that's a whole other rant. They didn't factor in birth control. They didn't factor in diet. They didn't factor in what the person was using. That study that shows vitamin D is good for acne is very, very flawed. Anyway, you don't want to be super deficient, but everyone starts taking it because they're told they're deficient, which legitimately they are, but then they start taking too much and they're not given a stop date or a dosage suggestion. The thing with vitamin D is that it stores up in your system. It's fat soluble, and the excess spikes testosterone. And that is well known. Like, men, when they get older and they start getting low testosterone, the first thing they do is start doing a vitamin D therapy. Like, this relationship is very well known, but no one puts it together for acne. Like, a dermatologist will never really talk about this.
Wow.
But it's causing hormonal acne. It mimics it. So someone will all of a sudden start taking a vitamin. A few weeks later, they're getting all this acne and they think it's hormonal. And then they go to the doctor and they get put on birth control or spironolactone or some other thing. So they're in this constant loop of chasing their tail, but really it had to do with their vitamin. So another one is vitamin B12, which is obviously a good vitamin, but when you start taking a supplement of it, or when like those vitamin B12 shots became really popular, it'll have like 20,000 times what you would normally get in a day. I've seen supplements that have 60,000 times what you should normally be getting in a day in one dosage. That also spikes testosterone, and it's in a lot of energy drinks too. If you look at a 5-hour energy, it's literally just like liquid B12. So it's again, devil's in the dosage, but these things create hormonal acne because they are messing with people's hormones. But they would never think to look there. But you can see a reduction in acne within like 48 hours after you stop taking these things. Like, you'll notice it going down. Yeah, it's a big deal. The other vitamin is biotin, which is also tricky because it's the hair, skin, and nail vitamin.
Skin.
Yeah, but the root genetic cause of acne is called hyperkeratosis. Hyper means more, keratosis is the keratin production process. So we produce more of it than the average person who just never breaks out no matter what they do. Biotin stimulates more keratin. That's why it makes your hair and skin grow. But because the root problem of acne is an excess amount of keratin protein anyway, it just makes it way worse. So you'll find people reporting that once they took a hair, skin, and nail vitamin, their skin blew up. So that's the biotin doing that. And then the other thing is zinc, which you don't want to be deficient, obviously. But if you start taking too much, which if you have a standalone zinc vitamin, like that's all it is zinc, it usually has 273% of your daily intake, raises testosterone. That's why oysters are an aphrodisiac. It's because they have a naturally high amount of zinc and raises testosterone, makes you horny. Anyway, that's the whole story behind the oyster thing. But like, my point is that these are all well documented and well known relationships between vitamins and raising testosterone. And if you know acne, you know that testosterone is the primary hormone that causes an acne flare-up. So what kills me is that people are actively trying to be so healthy and it's backfiring on them because of these pieces of information that no one has put together for them. And that is really the core of our mission.
Wow. I love that. That's like so much knowledge there. Okay, I know you guys are a wealth of knowledge on everything. I could like talk to you about this for hours, but a couple other ones I want to know. Stress. So how much does stress play a role in acne flare-ups or breakouts? And then what can we do to control it? We're going to get into your routines after, but...
So stress raises cortisol levels. Cortisol is our stress hormone. And all of our hormones in our body want to be balanced. So we all have cortisol, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone. There's a couple more as well, but those are the ones that you hear about the most. Our body wants to keep them even keeled the way that they're all supposed to function in our body. When our cortisol levels rise, it throws off all the other hormones, which then can cause hormonal breakouts. But it's really, our stress hormones are so important. Like we're supposed to have a rise and fall of cortisol. That's incredible. But there's so many things going on in our daily lives that are keeping us in this like permanently heightened state of cortisol when it's supposed to rise and fall naturally. But now we're like stuck all the way up here. We might dip down a little bit and then go up even higher. Like we're not coming back down to a nice like homeostasis, like even keeled cortisol. So we have things that raise our cortisol, just daily life stress, right? Like just in general being like stressed out at whether it's career related, family related, stress related. Like every time you are like about to have a difficult conversation with someone or stressed about a relationship, that's going to spike it. Not getting enough sleep spikes cortisol levels. If you wake up in the morning and immediately drink caffeine, spiking cortisol levels. If you're waking up in the morning, immediately drinking caffeine or pre-workout and then doing a high intensity workout, keeping cortisol levels high. Like, so anything like caffeine related, spiking stress levels, high intensity workouts, daily stress, like we are just
like chronically.
Yeah, we are never coming down. Like think about just the average American, wake up, drink caffeine. If maybe they work out, go work out doing something really high intensity or like heavy cardio, and then they're, you know, going straight to work and they're stressed out and, you know, their boss yells at them or they're late for a deadline and then they come home and, you know, relationship stress or kids at the house and then they can't go to sleep and they get more work done. So maybe they drink another pot of coffee and they're getting more work done. Then they're not going to sleep till 2 a.m. and then they're waking up all over again. I mean, it's never ending. And so we have to do these things to be able to bring down our cortisol levels. So getting enough sleep, waking up in the morning and having lemon water with salt for electrolytes and waiting a little bit to have caffeine, not doing a high intensity workout every single day, switching out for Pilates, yoga, walking, weightlifting, different things like that aren't keeping our heart rate super, super high the entire time. Breathing throughout the day, stopping and taking deep breaths, spending a little time away from technology, off our phones, going on walks during the day, different things that we can do to really bring our body back down. Because again, as soon as cortisol levels are at a heightened point, it's throwing off every other hormone in our entire body. And our body is so stressed out that it's just not going to function properly. Our digestive system's not going to function properly.
Everything.
Our brain
It's
function,
like
our
it
focus.
pours.
Yeah. Our focus isn't, and it's just going to filter into all different areas of life. And so I think cortisol is like one of the most important hormones to pay attention to because it's very one we can make simple little tweaks every single day to help balance it back out.
There's that saying like stress is the silent killer.
It really is.
So
I mean,
true.
stress leads to inflammation within the body. Like,
It's
stress
so
is directly
true.
linked to cancer.
Everything. Man, I hope you guys are on a walk listening to this podcast. Not stressing though, because you're gonna take the eggs out. You're gonna be good.
Well, the stress component is such a big part of our health and our skin because if your immune system is bogged down by a resting baseline
Even
of
the
stress.
news, like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I don't watch the news.
No.
It's
Yeah.
just too much. It's
Yeah.
so important to be so mindful.
I
As
wish I
always
could
say,
convince my
control the
grandparents to
input.
stop.
Stay in my own
Just
lane,
control.
Focus on
Yeah.
like
Oh my God.
creator on news, right? Like I like to control what I see and the conversations I have.
And
Like,
that counts
we
you
don't need the
choose to
negativity.
consume. Totally. One more thing where I want to get into the routines, but one of the things that I know there's like a lot of books on this, but the sun. I personally love being in the sun.
Oh, same.
But lately I've noticed the flare. I've never had, that's like a personal question, but I don't know. Maybe someone listening also has the same issue, but I always was living in LA, go to the beach, and it's been so good for my stress to go to Malibu because my phone, I lose connection. It's actually really great for me. But lately I've noticed like my skin flares up in the sun. I know sun is not good for your skin. Like I've heard that my whole life from my mom, but like I was always like, okay, like, you know, when it doesn't affect you, you're just like, okay. But I see your stories, Kayleigh, whenever you're in the sun, you have like a big hat on. How bad is the sun for our skin? I just need to hear. And I saw Lauren Bostic's new book, Get the Fuck Out of the
Fuck Out of
Sun.
the Sun, yeah. It's a catchy title. So it's a healthy balance, just like most things. So you absolutely need sunshine. I actually never wear sunglasses because I like the sunlight on my face
I
for
love the
healthy
feeling. Oh.
for a circadian rhythm. Yeah. So what you don't want is overexposure, and you want to protect your face, neck, and chest. Your body, your back, your tummy, your legs, like get the sun through the bigger part of your body.
But the face particularly.
Just protect your face. Your face isn't even the biggest surface area in which to get your vitamin D from. So protecting it isn't going to affect your vitamin D that much, but it will save your skin in the end. Now, everyone has like what's called a minimal erythema dose, like the amount of time you can spend in the sun before it starts to become inflamed. Everyone's a little different. You've got caramel skin, so you have a little bit higher natural SPF than, say, Kayleigh or myself. So we need to be really diligent with it. People who really need to be extra careful with the sun are people with dry skin, or if they're in altitude. People with oily skin tend to not see such aggressive sun damage because your oil is your natural lipid barrier and it protects you from the sun. So that's why anyone who looks really good for their age, guarantee you they had oily skin when they were younger. So people, if you have dry skin and you're fair, you got to be careful.
So how do they be careful? Sunscreen.
Too, I think you could also be breaking out in the sun. So because if you're wearing makeup or skincare
that has a
products
pore clogger,
clogging ingredients, you're going out in the sun. You're moving around, especially if you're going like hikes in Malibu. It's opening up your pores, and those pore cloggers are going deeper into your pore, causing breakouts.
Yeah, I'm gonna check your sunscreen ingredients for you.
That could be a huge reason because you're sweating more in the sun, so it's opening those pores up.
It's so crazy because like you love it, but you got to be so mindful. And I think it hits later in life too because it ages you, right?
Yeah, most aging is caused from UV damage, but that's why we love our sunny side sunscreen, because it's like the thing that you can keep in your cars and your car and then take it with you in your purse no matter what you're doing, because you put your sunscreen on in the morning doing a good job and then it's like oxidized or worn off or is ineffective after like an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then you have the whole rest of your day. That means by the
no
time
one's out just for an hour.
No, and it's in the morning. So by the time you're out for lunch, it's gone. By the time you're out for an afternoon walk, walking your dog, it's gone. You sit outside and it's a summer evening, you're at dinner. It's all those, and you're driving around. It's all those little times that accumulate that create sun damage. So having like a brush on mineral sunscreen is the thing that is like your skin insurance.
I love that.
Not to do a product plug, but like that's why we made it.
We'll have all the products linked below specifically because I know you guys have so many products. So we got to be specific with what they are.
But I like to tell people like don't invest a ton in products unless you have like you're protecting your work. You know, it's like having an amazing house and then leaving the doors wide open. You know, it's just like you got to protect.
Love that. I love analogies.
It's in order to care for your skin, you really have to think of it like from a holistic view and just like think of the day-to-day protection of it.
Love it. Okay, my favorite part to ask. Favorite part, and you guys know listening, you guys are so balanced, and I know wellness is such a big part of both of your lives, especially with just like the community here where you guys invest a lot of time. I would love to hear how you guys kind of honestly like stay on top of it in all areas. Like you're super concerned about obviously your stress, you're entrepreneurs, you're busy as hell, you're young, you're dating, you're like doing something. Kayleigh just moved from San Diego to LA. Like you have so many things going on other than just like the business. And like I would just love to hear the real candid like how you stay on top, any non-negotiables, any routines that like, okay, if I did my morning routine, I'm good. No matter what guy does something or trigger or whatever goes my way, I'm good.
I love the 5-minute journal.
Ooh.
I've been doing that for years. I still absolutely love it. And it makes such a difference. Because sometimes it's like my housekeeper will come and she'll like put it away and then I just like won't see it. So I'll forget about it. Then I'll be like, why am I not feeling my best? And then I'll be like, I haven't been doing that. And then the minute I get back into it, I feel amazing. So deciding what your mindset is going to be first thing in the morning is huge. Rarely do I write in that journal, like, what would make today great? You list 3 things. You make those things happen and then you had a great day. It's actually really easy. So having a routine where you decide how your day is going to go and what would make it great and then you execute it that way is huge. And then also just hydrating. Drinking water is huge. That drastically affects your mood and your stress response. And then just watching how you eat. Honestly, eating and sleeping is so important when you're as busy as we are.
I feel like it totally affects how you show up.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't drink that much alcohol because there is no good time to be hungover, like at all. Nowadays. And it's like, I just managing the toxins that come in from people, from the environment, from what you eat, from what you watch, from what you hear, like less bullshit in, better things out.
Love it.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I'm obsessed with feeling my best every single day because
she's obsessed with Erewhon.
Seaweed snacks. Yeah.
I love going to
if you aren't feeling your best, that is going to negatively impact everything else in your life, whether it is business, relationships, how you love yourself, how you treat other people. So I like to think of it as like, think of yourself as a vase, right? And let's say over time, over a lifetime, your vase gets kicked over, it's shattered on the ground, right? Like from stress, went through a really hard breakup, your business went under, like your grandfather passed away, like all these different things that have broken our vase over time, right? So it's your responsibility to put your own vase back together and to pour water into it. So then you can slowly pour into other people's vases, right? So we can all share. So we need to be able to put our vase back together. So how are you going to glue your vase back together? Like, think about all those shattered pieces of glasses representing different parts of your life. So like your daily practice, your gratitude practice, time for yourself, sleep, eating healthy, all these different things so you can have the strongest possible glue. Then you let it rest for a little bit. Sometimes we need to take time for ourselves. Sometimes we don't need to be dating all the time or pouring or doing 1,000 things because we're not ready to pour that water back in because that glue hasn't set yet. So sometimes we need to focus on ourselves for a little bit. When that glue is set, we can now pour the water back in, start adding even more into it. And now we can handle that vase being full, because before you'd like try to pour in and then try to pour into others and the vase would just break again. So making sure you are solid. And we're all going to go through ups and downs. Like, we got to ride our life like waves. It's going to have a lot of ups and downs. But if we can develop daily practices that hold that glue together, that pour that water into our vase, we can then pour into everything else. Like, ClearStem's not going to be successful if Danielle and I are falling apart every single day. I'm not going to have a successful relationship unless I pour into myself, unless Danielle and I's relationship is strong, ClearStem is strong. Keeping all those daily practices in line to make sure we're feeling our absolute best, I think, is most important.
I love that.
And I think on another note too, like when you're not feeling your best, really prioritizing, figure out why.
It comes to so much self-awareness too, because someone listening might be like, I don't know when I'm off. And I think that check-in, like even coming from like the journaling every single day, I'm like huge on that, because if you don't quiet your mind and like check in with yourself and know, okay, am I an abundant cup that can spill over onto others? Like, how the hell are you supposed to even be aware enough to notice when you need certain things?
Danielle and I both have separate therapists, and we have our executive coach. We work like 3 different people. We both have a therapist and our executive coach that we meet with. And I'm a full believer in therapy and everyone needing it, because there's a lot of things that happen during the week that I mentally am like tabling it. I'm like, we're gonna talk about this in therapy, because I do like to know the why. I'm like, why did that trigger me? Like, why am I feeling so emotional about this one thing? I feel like something else is going on.
But it's so cool that you know too. You're like
having a reaction. I'm just like, all right, let's chat about this later in the week. I'm gonna take this off my plate. I don't want it to let it affect anything else going on in the week right now. And then I'll talk about it. We'll get to the root. We'll work through it, and I'll feel great.
Curiosity is the antidote to so much stress, I feel like. Just being curious, like, it takes away because anything can trigger you, which is the tip of the iceberg of trauma, essentially. But if you just, like exactly what Kayleigh just said, you put it away, you put it in your pocket for a minute, or like on a to-do list, so you're not ignoring it, you're not repressing it, but you surround it with curiosity to figure out what's behind it. Like that is like the biggest thing in keeping your mind and soul happy. And having a therapist, like, your friends are not your therapist. No. They need to be a professional therapist.
Yeah, because then there's those biases that are like in there.
Well, a friend's just you're just gonna project your own stuff onto someone.
Yeah,
your friends are not your therapist. It's not the same.
Money, it's all so much money. All money of wisdom, wealth, knowledge, everything. I'm so grateful. Thank you guys so much for sharing just beyond on this podcast. We're so grateful to get to dive deep and have the opportunity to do this podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Oh my gosh. So lastly, I want you guys to plug away. I want you guys to share your personal handles, ClearStem, things you guys are launching, any particular products. Would love to hear it for the audience.
Yes. Speaking of products coming up, our vitamin is coming out. We've been waiting forever. Supply chain delays have been a thing.
All skin vitamins.
I think it's going to be the thing that really changes our company, because it's that impactful.
Is it a topical vitamin? Or
Nope,
like
it's a supplement.
Ingest? Oh, wow.
It is a supplement.
Entering the supplement game.
Yeah, right. But it tackles all the areas of acne that never get addressed in a Western medical office. Like, it tackles digestion, liver health,
How long has that been in formulation?
We've been testing it for like 6 months. Yeah. Then we tested it. We changed it. Had to test another round. Now we've just been waiting for it. But yeah, it's amazing. It's like a healthy alternative to Accutane, basically.
When is it coming out?
It drops in a couple weeks.
Okay,
and it
so
also
we will
tackles
link
the stress
that.
component of acne.
Yes. Wow. Okay, so we'll have that linked. Plug your socials.
Social, Danielle, the acne guru, and ClearSTEM Skincare.
Yep. And then my personal one is Kayleigh Christina.
Beautiful. You guys know we will have everything linked. Follow at Coffee and a Good Vibe because we made so many TikToks and reels with these guys, and you're gonna want to see it. And the one thing I love too, you guys crush content. So there's gonna be so much of that we'll share. So thank you guys so much, and we will see you guys in the next one.